Buenas tardes, todo el mundo. Here we are again. Hold up, wait.
Friday, it's Friday, and it's a long fucking weekend, and I love it. Yes, I do.
It's a normal weekend.
Oh, fuck you.
It's an average weekend. I've seen bigger.
Oh. What is it today with jokes like that, man? Like, it was concerning because my wife was cracking jokes like that today, like earlier on when we were out for a walk, like size jokes. I'm like, where's this going? Maybe nowhere with those jokes, but you know,
Right.
got me all self-conscious. And how are you, Mr. 36?
Well, I asked that question today. Don't ever ask.
Oh no, that's no.
Yeah.
No, that's opening Pandora's box. Nope. Might not like what I hear. Then I'll be emotionally scarred.
It don't bother me. There ain't nothing I can do about it.
Nope. Oh,
but
you're so modest. Like, seriously.
Well,
You're like, I'm pretty average for a white guy, but nope, not me. Even the brothers are saying, damn, white boy.
I seriously doubt that.
Oh my god. So what's new? How's this week been going for you, man? We had a 1 week hiatus.
Well, work is finally calming down. Thought I was going to work this weekend, but I don't. Everybody's ahead of schedule. Are you happy? Yes, I am.
Drop Shop says, hey guys, hello Drop Shop. Thank you for jumping into our Friday Maravilloso stream. Yes, sir. Fellow Canadian. Chase has got to ask, are you happy? Yeah, that's the question of the day, right? Multiverse of Madness. I actually went to see it with Chase's actually on the IMAX screen. It's my third time viewing the movie, Multiverse of Madness, Doctor Strange. And actually, you know what? I enjoyed it the second time around on IMAX, actually. And I love food. Yo, firm handshake, sir. Hope you're doing good. And we got Mari. Hey, guys. Hey, Mari. Good to see you.
Hey,
again.
Mari.
Yeah, so everything calmed down at work. Everything's coming together now that the pricks are out of the building.
Yeah, little fuckers. Anyway. Time to scrape the boogers off the walls.
And the gum underneath the freaking railings and shit.
Oh, no. Those, I wish that's what they did. What's that?
But does that happen a lot still? Like,
dude, you find shit everywhere. Like gum underneath the desk. Yeah, I've seen some of that. But it's shocking. It is shocking how many of these people, because these are people getting ready to graduate. These are 21, 22, 23-year-old people that are getting ready to graduate into their profession.
The future
with their degree.
Of our country. The future of our country.
And they move out of their room, and you still find where they're wiping boogers on the fucking walls. And that's an engineer 6 months from now. That's a doctor. That's good God.
Maybe they're testing the adhesive of their own, shit, right?
Gag.
Who knows? That's our future, man. That's our future.
Tomorrow's leaders. There they go.
Yeah, tomorrow's
leaders. Gonna have a lot more to worry about than formula shortages.
Yeah. Hey, look who's there. Your buddy. 36, look.
Hey, it's fucking Terrence. Where you been, man?
Hey, Terrence, brother. I hope you're doing good. Good to see you. Yeah. Oh my God. So you were saying something about formula shortage?
Yeah. So, have you heard about it?
I have heard about it. I don't know if it's happening here in Canada.
Nope. It's an American thing. So when Trump redid the NAFTA agreements, right? There was a part that was left out about manufactured dairy. So they covered milk and cheese and import, export, and all that, but it never addressed the manufactured dairy. So like, baby formula is the main thing. Mexico has plenty of it. Canada has plenty of it.
Actually,
And
we were short too. Yeah.
really,
Yeah. Hey, Rough Girl, what's up?
so apparently, there's 2 factories in the United States that produces it, and one of them had a recall because a bunch of babies got sick.
Wow. Yeah, because the ones that shortage is the ones the food the allergy free food formula is the one that's in short amount apparently.
Right. So if you notice, one thing I noticed about this is when you look at the way they're reporting it, right? And I've been looking at like the way it's getting reported in Australia, the way it's being reported in Britain. We're getting ready, and I'm against this too, but we're getting ready to send Ukraine a shit ton of money, right? Because they need help. Any other country in the world was short on baby formula, we'd be sending it. Who's sending it to us? Nobody. And in the news, the way they're reporting on it and stuff, they're actually like making fun of the United States not having it, right? And that kind of pissed me off a bit, not gonna lie.
Rough Girl, I appreciate it. Yeah, well, hold on. I found a little clip actually. I'm gonna pop it up. Yeah, Rough Girl, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate everybody that stops by and says hello. All good. Where is this stuff here? All right, pop this up right here and hold it right there. Pause that. Let me get to these chats. No, baby. We got over 5,000 soldiers there with no weapons.
Yeah, but they're not, that the weapons are not part of that 50 billion or whatever they're getting ready to send over there. That's a separate thing.
Guys, when one of those stores ran out of protein powder, I didn't see a single story on the news. Maybe it's because they restocked the next day. I was still irritated. Yeah, there was other. You're dead on. There was a lot of other shortages going on that we're not aware of because they're not considered important. Yeah, you're dead on that. Rough Girl TV. Hello.
Do you remember Biden going on TV and Trudeau going on TV and warning us 2-3 months ago about food shortages of different varieties for this summer? Then the first thing hit is baby formula. But then there's I guess a warehouse in some port that's full of the shit, and they were getting ready to send it overseas.
Well, let's check this out.
The U.S. will soon allow imports of baby formula from foreign companies as the Federal Food and Drug Administration scrambles to ease a shortage, putting pressure on parents nationwide. An FDA official told reporters Monday the temporary move could help put more formula on U.S. supermarket shelves in a few weeks, and that foreign formula makers will need to meet FDA safety and nutritional standards. Speaking at a press briefing Monday, White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre said the administration was also in talks to provide transportation and logistics support to major formula manufacturers in the meantime.
We are also in ongoing communications as we talk about retailers here as well with Target and Amazon and Walmart and other leading retailers for baby formula to identify parts of the country that may be at risk of critically low supply of infant formula and have offered to work with manufacturers and retailers to bring more formula to those parts of the country, including the U.S. government transportation and logistical support.
Baby formula has been running low across the country since February, when leading manufacturer Abbott Laboratories recalled their baby powder formula and closed a plant following an FDA investigation into reports of babies falling ill from their product. Wow. The FDA uncovered bacteria contamination in several environmental samples taken at the site, among other problems. Abbott said in a statement there was no conclusive evidence to link Abbott's formulas to the infant illnesses, and that the investigation found no contamination in its finished product. Abbott also said Monday it was working with the FDA to reopen the plant and would do so within 2 weeks after earning FDA approval. The shortage of Abbott formula has been compounded by supply chain snags and historic inflation, leaving about 40% of formula products out of stock nationwide.
I don't remember even feeling the
What?
pain. I just remember
Talk about
the sound
baby
of
formula.
Johnny's voice. He
Talk
got
about
next
jumping
to
from
my
one
ear
topic
and
to the other.
screaming over and
Amber Turd,
over and
everybody. All right.
Right.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
Did you see that part? Not to sidetrack, but did you see that part where she's being sued for writing an op-ed? Her claim is that she didn't write the op-ed, and then the very first question that they ask her, she's like, "Yeah, that was part of the op-ed that I wrote."
Yeah, she is not doing well for herself at all.
Mm-mm.
At all, man. Let me get to these chats right now. Here we go. Guys, Scar Rough Go TV. Nope. We got a group leaving Monday with their weapons. They said things are cray. Yeah, I heard they're sending more troops, especially now that Finland and Sweden are almost done signing up to NATO. Yep, shit's gonna get real, or somebody's gonna cut a deal.
From the window to the wall.
Guys, I thought you were angry with me when you didn't want to have a 40-hour conversation. Oh my god, not at all, man. I'm not angry about that at all, man. I know. One day. Don't know when, but one day. Chase. Well, it's not newsworthy if it's just a matter of logistical complications. 100%. T-Virus says, Terrence, Geisker, I usually buy supplements to last several months at a time. Due to all these shortages, humans be messing up. I don't ask much of these humans, but having my training supplies on deck. I love food. Can women just chest feed? Too busy with their careers, I guess. Well, you know what? It's not only the careers. It also has to do with diet. There's some women that they don't eat healthy enough in order for whatever they eat, they're feeding their child, right? And there's some women that their milk sometimes doesn't last. For example, my wife with our second child, she was breastfeeding, but she would always eat to the point where it starts becoming, well, my wife wasn't producing enough milk, keeping up with the demand, right? So we started mixing between formula and breast milk, and at the end, we just ended up going formula because anxiety and everything, when she stopped producing milk. And that's something that happens, and you're dead on. Career too is a major thing. But I've also known women that are career oriented that did pumping, and they would have their breast milk in the fridge, and they had no issues producing it. So it really varies. And here I am talking like, I breastfed, but I have woke up. No, I didn't. Men nipples, I believe, are like pacifiers. It's just a temporary thing. I mean, what else? But what else would we have them? Pacifiers, and you can suck and floss at the same time. But
it is weird that we have them when you think about it.
Yeah, I mean they're pacifiers. Next time you see a man with a baby stuck there in a nipple, don't judge.
Well, without my nipples, that ring of hair would just look weird.
It's like almost like a Christmas wreath.
Right?
Yeah. I should dye them like green for Christmas. What do you think? I don't know. My wife might probably
one red, one green.
Yeah. Rough Girl says, yeah, if a country wanted to kill us, all they have to do is hit our food and prescriptions. Yeah, and you know what? There's a lot of YouTube. There's like Comic Division says he's a prepper, and you know what? That's something that people should seriously keep in mind. Always have a few weeks of food in the house, canned goods or whatever, water, because you never know. You never know what can happen. It could be a natural disaster like we had here a few years ago, an ice storm where everything shut down. There was no power in the house, but there's some people that had fireplaces, was able to cook their food, boil their water, and still function. And others did it. They had to completely pick up and go somewhere else in order to, to survive.
You know what? Speaking of that power grid stuff, something I've noticed around here that's kind of weird because the Build Back Better thing that Biden did and that money and all that shit was supposed to be like the infrastructure fix, right? As you know from us gaming, a stiff wind around here takes the power out. So they're installing rather than upgrading the power lines or whatever it is, they're installing these massive diesel generators at the substations around here, around where I live.
Wow. Well, I know for one thing, when I get my house, I'm putting in a generator.
Oh yeah, it's on the list for here, for definitely.
Yeah. If I have natural gas to my house, it's
Mhm.
gonna be a natural gas one. That's for sure. Here we go. Terrence says, guys, I'm glad to meet you. You're a cool guy. The same for you, R36. Thank you, Terrence, man.
Coolest cat you know.
Terrence. I like Terrence. Man, Terrence is a walking encyclopedia for things, everything comic book related, man. This guy can talk for hours on this, and he knows his shit. Not Google shit. He knows his shit because of reading the material.
I wish I did. Like, I listen to your guys' conversations and they're interesting, and I wish I had more knowledge just to be a part of it. But it's something I just didn't do when I was a kid. It's all baseball cards and stuff like that. But
that's exactly, that was your thing, right? For you, what was baseball, for others was comic books and other, animation and stuff like that. So yeah, definitely. Chase says, just hitting the electrical grid and internet communication infrastructure alone will cause a lot of chaos. Oh, 100%. No need for weapons or boots on the ground. It is crazy. It is insane how much we rely on the internet for everything.
Oh yeah. Everything. Well, if COVID taught us anything, all they have to do is hit the toilet paper factories and we're fucked. People fighting each other. Like, like, wouldn't that be some shit when like shitter tickets become the new currency? So like you're buying shit with squares of toilet paper.
Dude, I would be probably one of those people, but well, no, not probably. I would do the old fashioned way, a bucket of water,
right?
And a good old washing.
Good old giving the undercarriage good old how's your mother?
Oh my god. Rough girl. Greetings to T-Virus. Welcome to the family. Oh, that's cool. Awesome. Yes, T-Virus is definitely, Terrence is definitely one for the family. Terrence says, guys, I'm glad I don't have to worry about no baby formula because I don't have any kids unless the government collected a sample when I was sleeping. Oh my god. Rough girl. Poop, there it is. Yeah, definitely. Amber's poop is from the window to the wall. It ended up being her dog, right? At the end of it, wasn't it? She said it was her dog at the end.
Yeah, I blame it on the dog too.
Amber Heard is a terrible human. She belongs in the darkest prison with no books to read. And apparently she got fired from Aquaman 2. So all her scenes might not even be in the movie.
Right. That's like Will Smith getting fired, and The Rock is now going to be the genie.
Shit. 60 million years can give you such a crick in the neck. It doesn't matter. Just oh my god. Instead of I'm like a bird, Amber sings, I'm like a turd, stinking highway.
Yeah, right.
I don't believe I ate corn today. I don't believe I ate corn today. Yeah,
that's so gross.
I know. Don't you ever like poop and look back and you see like corn and you're like, wait, I didn't eat corn?
No, but I did one time look up how's come no matter how well you chew it, it comes out whole. You don't want to know that story. I'm telling you right now.
You got to share that one, man. You started, you got to share that one.
Well, when you chew corn, you don't actually break the husk of the corn kernel.
Right.
And the corn kernel husk refills with shit, and that's why it comes out whole. Yeah, bit of knowledge I wish I didn't know, but I had to look it up.
Damn. You were like that confused, right?
Yeah, I do that a lot too. It's like, I don't want to know what this is, and then I Google it anyway.
Rough Girl says, men breastfeed too. Didn't you know? I don't know what the hell comes out of there, but it definitely ain't baby formula.
I think she's referring to the men with vaginas.
Oh, beyond vagina.
Yeah. What? No.
It's like beyond meat, beyond vagina.
Beyond.
Dave Chappelle got that one. That was fucking funny. Oh my god. Guy Scar, when I was a child, my human mother breastfed me. By age 5, I was able to bench press trains with my thoughts. Fucking, I was able to fucking fly, bro. Oh my gosh, that's funny. I love food. It's just crazy that we are so backwards as culture. We can't figure out of to feed babies.
Figure out how to feed babies.
Yeah, figure out to feed babies. Seriously.
Well, that's not true. We know how to feed babies. We're just so ass backwards that we can't decide on A, the best way, B, the logistics of it, like Chase was saying.
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
it, I mean, we don't prioritize anything.
That's a problem. We don't know how to prioritize what's important anymore. Now you have people, right, that they'll break their cell phone, and they will not eat. They'll start eating ramen noodles only, or freaking
Right.
Like they'll jeopardize their diet in order to have the latest, to be able to replace their smartphone, because they can't function without their smartphone. First world should be called lost world. Because we lost basic connection with the world. We have to return to the land. Be one with the earth. Guys, gotta prepare for everything, including human silliness. These creatures fight over the dumbest thing. I'll leave Earth at some point. There are a few planets in the universe that I'm considering.
Send me a postcard.
Rough Girl says, yes, I'm a prepper too. I just now ran out of my COVID toilet paper. Damn. Shit. You had toilet paper for 2 years? Damn.
We
Nice.
farm,
so I have charcoal, working on a hurricane prep to include weapons. Nice. Good for you, Rough Girl. Good for you. I know you love your weapons, and honest, and good for you.
I recently learned how to make my own charcoal.
All right.
Yeah, you just you go buy a brand new paint can, right? An empty paint can with a metal lid, where the whole thing's metal. You put chunks of wood in there and you seal it, put it in a fire, and because there's no oxygen in the can, or not enough, the wood inside just turns to charcoal rather than burn. And you can make your own charcoal.
Cool. Rough Girl says, I love food. How did you lose connection? I'm working on CB walkie-talkie. There's a CB walkie-talkie. Wow. Guys, I usually stay warm off the fear of my enemies. I only gained enemies when I start living on the earth. Freak Terrence kills me, man.
I know.
At the Basco Center, I have Hank Aaron turn back the clock. A lot of tops and Dunruss. Oh, right, Dunruss 87.
Yeah, Rough Girl.
Nice.
I have unopened packs of $89 Donners. Unopened packs.
Wow.
Every time I think about it, it kills me, and I want to open one, but I'm not going to do it.
You know, which card I would love to see is fuck, what's his name? The quarterback for shit, I have a blank. The quarterback that just Tampa Bay played for New England. Shit.
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady's baseball rookie card.
Really?
Yeah. Because you know who he played for, right?
No, I didn't even know he played.
No? Oh yeah, he played before football. He played in the major league.
Really?
Yeah. I'm gonna show you right now.
So you know my brother.
You're gonna be very surprised when you see which team he played for. If you don't know this, he was drafted by my own Montreal Expos.
No way.
Yes, sir. There you go.
And then
he was a catcher.
He left Major League Baseball because he couldn't deflate the baseballs.
Oh my god, you're terrible. Oh my god. Who knows? Their balls were just too hard. Guys, I wish some humans would try to take my toilet paper. That person would end up in the afterlife with mental damage. Yeah, I fucking believe that, man.
But with a clean butt.
Clean ass in the afterlife. I have a hot tub, so I'm good. I'm ready to charge the neighbors for 5-minute baths. Man. Good.
That's
Aquaman 2
cold.
doesn't, yeah, good. Aquaman 2 doesn't need Amber Heard. I'm watching that movie for Aquaman anyway. And women are watching it for Jason Momoa.
Yeah. I would never watch that with a girl.
I Love Food says Rough Girl TV. Oh, I meant the West is a culture that has lost any understanding of basic things that humans should know. Victory has defeated us. Spain.
Yeah. Well, that goes right along with that saying, right? The whole hard times make hard people make easy times make easy
Pussies.
people, easy people make hard times, and that's the cycle, right?
Yeah.
And we're in the time of soft people making hard times.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
People don't upbeat themselves.
Yes. We have a family farm plus the Army and North Carolina hurricanes has me ready for anything. People here buy liquor for hurricane parties. Fuck, if you might as well go fucking happy.
Have you ever been to North Carolina?
Me? No.
Oh, dude. I love North Carolina.
North Carolina, keep your shirts on. Oh.
No, like seriously, the scenery is beautiful. Life is just slowed down there.
I had over 243 rolls. Holy shit. And that's enough toilet paper to clean an elephant's ass.
Yeah, but that's, for a woman, that's 243 days.
I'm not going there. Yeah, in my house we go through toilet paper like crazy.
Oh yeah.
I actually had to teach my younger child. I had to teach her to flip and reuse,
Oh yeah, fold.
She would go through, fold the fold. It's because it would she would like clog up the toilet with so much paper she would put in down there, man. It's crazy.
Oh yeah. Well, when I was married, the wife and I had 2 stepdaughters, and I couldn't believe how much toilet paper we were going through. And then when, after the divorce and I'm living on my own, 1 12-pack lasted me like 10 months, It was unreal. I have to buy toilet paper so seldom that I forget to go buy it.
Oh, shit. Put toilet paper in the can with 70% alcohol and it burns for 10 hours.
It's true.
Nice. Damn, if I ever, man, I think I might drive to North Carolina if there is a Holocaust and look for Rough Girl. Guys, while I use my phone to do a lot of reading, I don't actually need a phone because I'm able to communicate with all humans I know away from such a device. Oh, 100%. If I would lose my phone, yes, I would have, that reflex of looking for your phone and looking at your phone. But I would still be able. Well, no, I wouldn't be able to communicate with nobody because I don't have a landline and I don't remember people's fucking phone numbers. So what?
Exactly.
Fuck, I would just be happy because I'll be like my father when he goes out to the fucking farm and he's working in the tractor. He doesn't have a cell phone. He's like, fuck it. People want to come and talk to me. They can come to me. That's his attitude.
I have written down my father's phone number and I keep it in my wallet in case. That ever happens, so at least I have somebody I can borrow a phone and call because I don't remember anyone's phone numbers either.
I don't know if it's in the States as well, but here in Canada, even if your cell phone you have an old SIM card in it, and your cell phone you don't have a service, like you're not paying for a plan, you have an old cell phone, you can keep it in your car, and if ever you're in any danger or whatever, and you have it powered, you can still call the authorities on it.
Yeah, 911 still works on all phones.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's also in the States, because a lot of people don't know that.
Right.
I would love to talk cards one day, even though my Pete Rose is worth nothing. I hold it close. Oh yeah, definitely keep that close, no matter what he did, for sure. Fun fact, guys, Drax eating chips, thinking no one can see him. Yeah, that was a great scene. Is a Terrence original. My friends will vouch for this. It was a crazy coincidence. Yeah. Were you like Drax, Terrence? Eating chips? No one can see me. I'm eating my chips. Continue. Let's be real. Most humans are weak and can't handle anything. Look how much the pandemic has revealed about humans of the world to a large degree. Yes, man, it has. And the pandemic really was a testing time for people that have anxiety issues and mental issues as well, man. It showed. Yeah, go ahead.
I was most shocked just by how many people just did what they were told, right? Like up to that point, no one trusted the government. It was the least trusted Congress in the United States anyway, in history. Lowest polling numbers ever. Least amount of trust in the government in U.S. history, and they said, take this shot, and 3/4 of the country lined up to do it.
90% of our population did it.
See, that just floors me, man.
Yeah,
90%. I really thought there would be a bigger pushback than that.
Not here in Canada.
But the shaming, right? If you didn't want it,
yes,
the amount of shaming that went on was it was sickening. It really was. It was infuriating.
It was terrible. Yeah, it was terrible, and just for make sure, we are not doctors. For medical advice, please consult your doctors. Yeah, definitely, man. Like, it's insane. And not only recently, they say that the flu shot that they were giving people for every year had a 75% protection rate against the COVID-19 virus.
Right.
Already. It's like when they developed this thing, didn't they not test that first? I'm sure they did, but there was so much money involved in it, right?
I saw a TikTok. This guy summed it up perfectly. He said, if I don't take the vaccine, I'm 100% protected against vaccine side effects, and I'm still 98% protected against dying from COVID. I'll take.
Yeah, but that everybody's different, man. Everybody's different.
Right.
Listen, my brother-in-law did not get vaccinated. He got the coof, and for him, that's what our code. That's the code name. You can't say it. Sometimes you get flagged. No, you can say fucking COVID, whatever. He got it, and for him, it was like a bad sinus cold that he got.
Right.
But he's asthmatic, and he didn't they were planning fear, or if you're asthmatic or have pulmonary problems. Yes, it's true, but it all depends on the person. The risks are there if you take it and if you don't take it.
And then, the people that passed from it, which is horrible. I'm not saying I don't care about that.
100%.
But what was the average age? Did you see that? The average age of the person who died of COVID was like 83, with at least 4 comorbidities. They were already sick with at least 4 other ailments.
Yeah.
Was the average COVID death.
We'll never know the truth. Never.
Oh, hell no. No, it'll never all come out.
Rough Girl says, from the time I saw the Asian doctor, from the time I saw the Asian doctor fall out in November or December, I was buying over $2,000 in stock, and my family thought I was crazy because I live alone. That's why your fucking toilet paper lasted so goddamn long.
No doubt.
There you go. Okay, because that shit wouldn't last long in my house that time. I hate having a phone, and the one I have is being held together by clear duct tape. Nice. People have lost the ability to verbally communicate 100%. Guys, I remember most phone numbers, but I don't remember everyone's phone number yet. Hey, Bozo's in the house. What's up, Basil? Sup, yo? Thank you for stopping by. So, Basil, I was going to bounce, but I'm feeling this vibe. All right. She's feeling the vibe. Feel the vibe. Everybody come alive.
You know who's late?
Who's late?
What up, though?
Oh, G major. Shit, true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rough Girl says, it was like the Body Snatchers. Hardly anyone said anything about the blatant lying. 100%. And Chase has now resurfaced saying, so what's the scoop on the Quebec's Bill 69? How does that work? Like French and English reversed on each other, other one on top and the other at the opposite ends. Yes, I'm going to talk
this is
about it
crazy.
Because I really want to get your American perspective on this, because you can pretty much kind of build the same type of thing with either Florida and Texas. Not really Texas, because Texas is really big, but like Florida, right?
Right.
You have a lot of Hispanic speaking people in Florida. It's like if they said, all right, listen, we were part of Spain. We want to preserve our Spanish heritage here in this part of the country, and our official language from now on is Spanish, right? That's what the
Right.
state says. It's Spanish. If you want to live and work here, everything has to be in Spanish first and English. All your stores have to have Spanish predominantly written and English in smaller writing if you want to include the English. All your work contracts, all your work documents have to be in Spanish only and not in English, right? All your governmental documents have to be in Spanish, not in English. You have to request it to be in English. So that's basically what's coming down to. I'm just going to get to these chats fast before just to keep them on chat, but I'm coming back to that whole thing. Guys, for 9 years ago, I was chilling with friends, but they don't realize I was in the room and I was eating chips. Then I saw the Marvel movie. That was funny. Wow, at Chases, they are still having issues. Yes, we are. We are. It's getting really ridiculous, and Trudeau is a fucking piece of shit for not being able to defend or grow balls to come toe to toe with this province that for a bunch of years have been imposing laws taking away basic rights that goes against the Charter of Human Rights, and it's ridiculous. And nobody has the balls to go against toe to toe with them. Guys, COVID vaccine was way far away for humans to make a lot of money. 100%. They care about money. Money talks and bullshit walks, right? They were putting, they were putting all these black people getting the jab, and I was like, I'm not falling for that shit. And good for you if you didn't get it, man. Yeah, good for you. Gosh, my family said I couldn't be around them unless I took the vaccine. They were ready to disown me, which I wouldn't. And that's the
so
division.
Insane.
Yeah.
That is
it's crazy.
Like,
yeah,
that's what I'm talking about too, man. That is nuts.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. So let me share this. So Quebec has language laws. As everybody might not know, Quebec was first a French colony before the war with England. England came. There was a war back in the day between the English and the French and colonization and whatnot. And the British defeated the French on the Plains of Abraham in Quebec. Literally kicked their ass. But the British, instead of jailing them and sending them back to France, what they said is, listen, you surrendered. We'll allow you to keep your land. We'll allow you to keep your churches, but there's no more war. So that was created throughout history. The French culture, which is beautiful. I have no problem. I can speak French perfectly fine. But what the issue that I have is they started imposing laws, right? So anybody that comes to Quebec and wants to live into Quebec that is, I believe, non-American. I think Americans have the right to go to English schools, but from other countries who want to move to Quebec have no choice but to send their children to French schools. That's it. They have no other choice. So I was explaining before with my Florida thing. So they passed laws for companies and stuff that everything. Terrence out. Take care, Terrence, man. Peace.
CP.
Thank you so much for being part of it, man. I appreciate it. We got Jason. Hey, Jason, man. Thank you for being here, boy. Hell, bring on the controversy. Yes, I really want to think, because I honestly believe if we were in America, like that same mentality as in the United States, this shit wouldn't have gotten even to the point that it is today.
Well, I don't know, dude. Honestly, based on the whole fucking COVID reaction, like we were just talking about, I mean, so there's a big difference between, which a government shouldn't do this anyway. There's a big difference between a government telling you what you can't say versus what you have to say.
Right.
Or you know what I mean? Like, and it started like, and that's what made Jordan Peterson so famous, right? Is when the government mandated that he had to start using the preferred pronouns of whoever he was speaking to, right? He was already doing that just out of manners and, and the like, but then when the government told him he had to, and that's the point he was making, and that's what made him famous. Right. And now he lives in the US, but it's going to happen here. But like you were saying, using Florida as an example.
Yeah.
We've always heard that if you come to America and most people here speak English, even though South Africans come here, or people from Zimbabwe or wherever, they come here, they learn English. And Hispanics coming from the South were the only people that weren't expected to learn English. It was like an unwritten social contract, right? That if I don't know why, but American culture, Europeans, Africans, Asians, when they come here, they're expected to assimilate, and they assimilate, and most of them prosper. I mean, the two most prosperous people in the United States right now are Indians and Asians. And but for some reason, Hispanics are not expected to assimilate in the same way. So you imagine the uproar.
Yeah, exactly. It's because there's a history, right? And that's exactly where I'm getting at with this. It's the history. It's the fact that Florida, parts of California, Mexico, New Mexico, all those were part of the Spanish Empire, right? So there's that culture. And the same thing is here in Quebec. Quebec was part of the French Empire. And that's the thing that they're holding on to, is the fact that, you know, they're using that as basically they're saying that their language is at risk, that if they don't put these laws in effect, they're going to lose their language. Right. But this is what my argument is. Myself, my family immigrated in the 60s to this country without knowing English or French. My parents learned it. They were able to speak it. I went to school in English because the Bill 101, which is the law that came into effect that any immigrant coming in had to go to French school, only came into effect in 1977, right? So I was born in 75, so I was exempted on it. And I was exempted also because my sister went into the English school, right? So because she went, I was allowed to go to an English school. So because I went into an English school, my daughters were allowed to go to the English in the English program, right?
So
but my wife, yeah, exactly. So my wife, she went to French school because she immigrated to Canada in 84, right? So she had to go to French school. But the thing is they're imposing these laws on businesses, which is hurting the economy here, because when new foreign business come in here, no matter how many tax cuts they give them, they have to comply to those rules. Like everything they have as protocol and regulations has to be in French. So they have to get all those things translated. Any software developed that's going to be thrown in Quebec has to be able to be in French, which makes sense, right? Because there's a big French population, but they're making it law. So now what's going on is they're trying to, sorry, my wife just corrected me. She immigrated in 86. She was in 86 and not 84. Thank you, honey. So basically now they're imposing all these laws, which is restricting access to education and restricting access to certain services where will only be given in French. You come to Quebec, all the street language, all the street signs are in French only.
Really?
Everywhere across the world, where in France, for example, you have your signs in French and you have them in English. In Toronto, Canada, they have them in French even, right? It's bilingual. Canada has two official languages, English and French. My gripe is if they have two official languages, then it has to be fair across the country. Promote both.
Didn't this start with you talked about this, and it's been about a year, I think, about the, what do they call them, the preservation zones or something like that?
Well, yeah, it's kind of, yeah, well, exactly. They're trying to in Quebec, they're trying to keep, so basically what's happening now is a lot of students from the French sector that graduated out of high school, there's French colleges, right? Because here in Quebec, there's it goes from high school to college to university, right? So basically what happens is once those French students graduate from high school, they have the option to go to an English college. And a lot of them do because they want to immerse themselves in English because they know that English is the international language of business.
Right.
No matter where you go in the world, you need to speak English in order to prosper. Right. So you have these political people that are imposing these laws. And guess what? Their fucking children go to English private schools abroad. So they're imposing these laws for every citizen here, but then themselves are sending their kids off to private schools in other countries in English.
Well, I mean, and there you have the intersection, right, between what do you want to call it? Socialism and still having rich people. So, but you see the stepping stones here, right? And if Jason's still in the chat, so if like you said, they create these laws and then they say, because it's going to hurt the economy, right? So then the government steps in and says, well, we just won't tax you as much, right? So then they're thinking, hey, if we don't tax them as much, they'll make the same amount of money as they were before. And then what happens? 10 years from now, those businesses are dependent on the government. And when those businesses start to fail, the government just starts to run those businesses. And then that's how you end up like China. Which, who wants to be like China? Trudeau.
Man,
he said it in how many interviews now?
Yeah. Just want to get to this comment I had highlighted from Rough Girl. Can y'all tell me what's up with YouTube privating all these videos? Yeah. You know what? I don't know what it is, but I have to do with, I think it's with the new truth police and false news. So whatever words trigger the algorithm, they're private, making them private automatically. That's my guess, my understanding. I haven't really gotten a chance to look around that. So
is
yeah,
Elon going to have to buy YouTube now too?
Yeah, probably, right. Hey, Jason Lee Tucker. Jason, shout out this monkeypox BS, another virus released by the elites. Oh, fuck. Yeah. You know what? I'll say. So Chase says, I feel like they're going about it the wrong way. They're enforcing it, making people restrained and hate the method instead of welcoming an educational. 100%. I've gotten into heated debate. Listen, in the early 70s, I think it was, or the 80s, Quebec held a referendum. Okay, they held a vote, okay, by the federal government. And catch this one: if the majority of the people voted yes, Quebec was allowed to separate itself from Canada and become its own country. That was the first time. But the kicker is they allowed this again in the 90s. And
I remember something about that.
It was out of 3 percentage points or something like that, that the no's won, meaning they didn't want to separate. You know how many businesses left the province? How many people exited the province because of that? It was insane. But the kicker is this: they wanted to separate, but they still wanted to use Canadian foreign currency.
You know what? Speaking of history and stuff, not to sidetrack again, but something you said earlier about New Mexico, Arizona, Southern California, and all that. You know, that was never fought over. I mean, we're taught in school, even here, that there was a war that was fought and the United States stole that land from Mexico. It wasn't stolen. The war was over Texas. The rest of that land was bought from Mexico. It was called the Gadsden Purchase. You can look it up. Like,
yeah, it rings a bell.
But they teach you in school that the United States stole it from Mexico, and that just never happened.
Yeah. So they allowed the country to come to vote, province to come to vote to separate from the country. That's treason.
Yeah, I mean, that's here treason. we call it cessation, and we fought a civil war over it.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. That would have never happened in the States, right? I think there was a couple of years, or maybe more than that, a group in Texas that wanted to separate, and all those leaders they disappeared, right? So that shit is it. So these are the breaking key points of Bill 96, because there's a lot of misinformation about that too. That there was some information that people were saying that they were going to prohibit doctors of speaking English to patients. So if you were like in the hospital and your English is your tongue that you understand and communicate with, that they wouldn't be allowed for you to speak to you in English. But that's not true. Apparently they said that the only exception is in the healthcare system. But anywhere else you go, you want the person, even if the person knows, like my wife, for example, she works for the government. Like she isn't like if a Hispanic woman comes to the desk, and when she was working at the front desk and speaks to her in Spanish, and my wife knowing to speak, she was not allowed to speak to give her service in Spanish. She was only allowed to,
Stupid.
yeah, exactly. Because if something would happen, the defense is if something would happen, there would be nobody there that would be able to back her up and protect her in case of anything, right? At work,
Wow.
at my job, my employees, a lot of them speak three different languages, and I tell them, you go ahead and speak.
Well, what if a person's
there's-
using sign language? Do you sign in French? How does that work? Is it very
Actually,
flamboyant?
Apparently, I believe sign language is universal.
Right.
Yeah, there's no I think the symbols mean the same if I'm not mistaken. So breaking down the key points of Bill 96. The law updates the charter of the French language Bill 101, which is basically said before, which was adopted in 1977. So there was a big there was over 1,000 people protesting this last Saturday. Called an act respecting French, the official common language of Quebec, Bill 96 proposes to strengthen Bill 101, the French language charter, which was first introduced in 1977. The notwithstanding clause. Among the most contentious points of the bill is that it sets aside basic rights of equality guaranteed in the Charter of Rights and Freedoms of both Canada and Quebec. So it goes against both Charter of Rights, the provincial one and the federal one, which means that those who feel their rights are infringed will not be able to use the overridden articles of the charter to challenge it. Immigrants have 6 months to learn French. The law states that agencies of the government can provide services in a language other than French to immigrants coming to Quebec, but only for the first 6 months of their arrival. Historic Anglophones, those are English-speaking people, services in English will be restricted to those who are eligible to attend English schools in the province or those who have attended English schools in Canada or outside Quebec. So myself, because I was part of the English program, I have the right to have my services in English because of legacy.
When are you moving here? Anyway, I hear there's some real nice spots up in Michigan.
So language. This is what happens when we speak more than one language. Language watchdog powers and small businesses. The law extends the language charter to small businesses with 25 or more employees when the previous threshold was 50 employees. The Office Québécoise de la langue française, which is like basically the language police. They have an actual division for language police, who will also be granted powers of search and seize without needing a warrant to inspect businesses and ensure they are complying with the law.
Okay, Pauls, does this not ring of Harry Potter and the Ministry of Magic in the later episodes? You know what I mean? It's the same thing.
It's fucking insane. They can go into anything, request your phone, go through your phone without a search warrant. It's ridiculous.
To see if you've been speaking English when you're not allowed to?
If it's work related, yes, you're not allowed anymore.
What
so basically,
the fuck?
For myself right now with this new law, everything I do at work, which the majority of all my employees are English speaking, so all my papers, all my training, everything, I have half my training in French already translated, but everything I do now, I wouldn't be allowed to use English anymore.
That is crazy.
Zero. That means everything that I've worked on and stuff like that, I have to change everything to French.
Now, do you know people who basically do everything in French anyway that have spoken about this? Are they like, okay, I speak French all the time and do everything in French, but this is bullshit?
Yeah, there's probably people out there.
That is insane, dude.
So the new powers for the French language minister, the minister responsible for the French language would be in charge of ensuring compliance with the law. Among the minister's powers would be to withhold grants or subsidies promised to municipalities if there is a suspicion that have not complied with the French language charter. So now they're targeting municipalities. And now I'm telling you why they're doing this. In Montreal, there's a lot of municipal areas that are predominant English, and a lot of them do not comply with some of the provincial laws because the majority of the population that lives there are Anglophone, and through history have always been so. So now they're targeting those, and they're doing this, and this is happening because they're trying to frustrate the English people here so that they move out of the province so that they can get their way. That's what they're doing.
It does seem okay. So from a logistics standpoint, I don't even see how this is possibly enforceable. So I think you're definitely right. This is set up to target specific people because there's no way you could blanket the entire province.
Absolutely.
I mean, where would you get the manpower to do it?
Mm-hmm. Law and contracts. Businesses contracts must be drawn up in French, and if they are versions of a contract in 2 languages, the French will take priority. If there is a discrepancy, a company's pleading in court will have to be in French or translated into French. All judgments in court will be in French or translated into French, and judges will no longer need to be bilingual. Judges will no longer need to be bilingual. Oh my God.
That just sounds like a giant step backwards. And what's craziest? Okay, so it just occurred to me the craziest thing about this. Who are you guys? Who is Canada basically ran by?
Always a fucking French Canadian prime minister.
Who's your monarch?
Who's my monarch? The fucking Queen of England.
So in a country that answers to the Queen of England, everything has to be in French.
Right? And this goes back to the federal government not stepping in and saying, no, you're shitting on the rights of the English and immigrant people in Canada living in Quebec, and it goes against those charters. But because they're passing these laws, the Quebec charter, they're trying to make it that overreaches the federal one, right? And because of history, no fucking federal prime minister has ever stood up for them. Never. Yes, the rough girl, the queen, is still alive.
No, she's not. She died 10 years ago, but nobody has the balls to tell her.
Services in French. Services to the public must be provided in French, and employees must not be required to speak English unless a company has demonstrated that as essential for an employee's job. So basically, you come and you commute here, and you're taking the subway and stuff like that. Those people now can say, well, sorry, you know what? You don't need to speak. English. Fuck the tourists.
So what if somebody works in a call center?
Well, that's where this comes into effect, right? Unless the company demonstrates it's essential for the job, right?
Okay, so like your job is somewhat of a call center.
Correct.
So if a customer calls in and they're speaking English, then you can speak English back.
Correct. Oh, absolutely, 100%.
Okay.
Let me just get to these chats. I think every territory should have the right to leave. Forcing people to stay in a union against their will is morally wrong. I guess so. Yeah, I guess. Yeah. All this talk about freedom. True. Yeah, that's a good point. But they're a minority. And the only way they're doing this is because they have that power, because they're always elected, because our turnout for voting is so shitty that these people always get back into the office and get these fucking laws, and then people that didn't vote start fucking bitching about it when they didn't vote in the first place. And that's why something I bestow in my children, that it's extremely important to use your right to vote. Yeah. Rough Girl says, you can't have freedom. You can't have my freedom. Yeah. Chase says, oh, the Ministry of Magic taken over by Voldemort. The world has gone mad. 100%. Quebec has gone mad. The Queen is still alive. The states adopted Spanish and did not lose the English language. Yeah. Hey, toxic man flu.
But that was never. But the states adopting Spanish was never legislated, right? And there's the difference. It was just a social thing that caught on, and then, like I said, that's the difference between a government telling you what you can't say and a government telling what you have to say.
Right. Yeah. The bill also makes it easier for those who aren't served in French or employees who feel their right to communicate in French was violated to make complaints. Here we go. CJEP access. CJEP is basically college access to new requirements. The total number of students allowed in English language CJEPs would be capped at 17.5% of the total provincial CJEP population, and access to English language programs in French CJEPs would be reduced. Mandatory French language exams that students must pass in order to graduate from French CJEPs would be extended to francophones and allophones studying at English CJEPs. So basically, if French-speaking people or non-English or French majority-speaking people go to English colleges, they have to pass more French exams in order to graduate.
I'm surprised this article didn't have to be in French.
Yeah. It's a Montreal English paper for many years. Students in English CJEPs would be required to take 3 of their core courses in French. Anglophone students in English CJEPs, however, would have to option of taking 3 language courses in French, or a total of 5 French language instruction courses. For students in elementary or high school, the government is putting a cap of 3 years on the number of years children of foreign temporary workers or foreign students can attend school in English. Bilingual municipalities. The bill proposes taking away the bilingual status of any municipality that does not have a population of at least 50% English speaker cities, and boroughs that want to preserve their status can adopt a resolution to that effect. How
And see, that's
fucked up is that, man?
Man, dude, and like you said, the biggest thing it's going to hurt is your economy, especially your local economies. I mean, everybody keeps saying "go woke, go broke," right? And I saw this thing, this transgender video, and all the shit that they're now wanting and demanding. This whole woke thing. I know that it's a pretty big crowd doing it, but they're still far, far, far into the minority. So how in the hell is all this shit getting pushed? I don't get it. That's what I can't understand.
Because our leaders that we have in place here have no fucking balls, and Trudeau has no freaking balls to go toe to toe with Quebec. None. It's up to the people to stand up for this. And when it comes to this, I'm very militant about this because I was part of the English program. I grew up in a very multicultural area where a lot of immigrants were coming in, right? So all the schools that were English when I was young started closing down because of that law 101, right? Because everybody immigrating had to go to French schools. My elementary school at one point became half French and half English, and the fights in the schoolyard, dude, because were ridiculous, right? It's not the kids' fault that they're French or anything, but there was fights because a lot of the kids felt like you're taking over our school because of these laws, right? Because of the history, and it was really fucking ridiculous. Then I went to a high school for 3 years, where the school was able to hold about 1,200 students, and we were only 400 students in the school. And guess what? They closed the school down, and I had to go to a different school in a more English area in order to finish off my 2 years of high school to graduate. So I've seen this process. My kids' elementary school went up for closure 3 times because there wasn't enough enrollment, because the people are the English community are moving out, and the immigrants coming in are not allowed to go to English school. So we're not filling up the school. The English population that's here are not filling up the schools fast enough. We're not reproducing fast enough, basically.
So it's almost like a language, not genocide, but what's the word when they try to take out a specific genetic group?
Oh my God, not genocide. It's frick. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's that word.
The chat's probably going to give it.
Right. Yeah. Read her comment right there. I love food. Her or his comment.
His comment. He says, because people say woke, but woke is just liberals. Not every liberal is woke. 100%.
Now wait.
But every woke person is liberal. Same values. So it's a big group.
Now here's the thing. woke liberals that's the extreme left, right? That's the far left.
Mhm.
Most people are not far left or far right. They're in the center.
Yeah, that would be me.
However, a liberal person such as yourself, you're pretty much centered. When put into a situation, will generally rather shift all the way to the left to the woke category on a given subject than vote anywhere. When it comes down to like voting or public policy, would shift far to the left, and it makes that group look way more way bigger for one, and way more extreme.
Mhm.
Would rather do that than to go slightly into conservative territory, such as you and I. You and I, we disagree on abortion, right? So on that issue, as strongly as you feel about it, I think that you would slide far to the left on that rather than go a little bit right. But on
Yeah,
other things,
yeah.
on other
Yeah.
issues, you would I would think nothing comes to mind right off the bat because we pretty much
course not.
agree on everything else.
Yeah.
So
But that's the thing, right? This whole thing is ridiculous because when I had to go to one of these town hall meetings when my kid's school was up for closure, and they were like, "Oh, we're gonna try and divide the school again." I stood up because these are all things that were done when I was in school,
right.
and they don't work. I went up, I stood up, and I said, "You are working with the ideology of the 80s. It no longer works.
Right.
No matter what you're going to do, the school will end up closing. That's not the way to go." I'm like, the way you have to think is, what is the reality today? Canada's bilingual.
Well, and then, yeah.
You should make everything bilingual, and that is it.
Well, see, and that's the thing. If you remember this conversation in a year, see how this works out. And it makes no fucking sense.
It's this. It's Rough Girl's head right here. It's money. There's so many different school boards, right? You have like 3 or 4 French school boards. You have 3 or 4 English. Why the fuck so English? For sure. I don't know why they have so many freaking school boards, because there's not enough English students.
Right.
What they should do is make one freaking school board, say it's develop a school program that is perfectly bilingual. They want to have their 4 or 5 exams. Fine. It's in Quebec. Fine. I have no problem with the exams and making sure that everybody that comes out of the educational system is perfectly bilingual. 100%. I have no issues with that. None whatsoever. But imposing these laws and taking away people's God-given right of choosing an education system, it's like what you said before. It's because they started saying what you're allowed to do and what you're not allowed to do that caused this problem. Instead of developing a program where everything is completely fair for both sides, and making people learn 2 languages, which is fundamental and useful globally, right? Because basically what these governments are doing, saying, oh, it's the upper class are going to continue being perfectly bilingual for the French people because they can afford to send their kids up to private schools. But in the regular school system, where you're going to have people that are going to have broken English, no, they're not. You know why? Because everything else they do outside of school is in English. And that's what they fear. They're talking up. So I'm on a rant, bro. I'm on fire on this shit because it really pisses me off. Going back to my example, they fear they're going to lose their language. You know how you lose a language? If it's
by getting rid of the people.
Not only that, it's when you do not preserve it in your fucking household. It starts off in your home. It starts off teaching your children what is important and the values of it. That's how it does. My parents did it for me. At our fucking dinner table, my father, who was fluent in English and French, and my sister, who was fluent in English and French and Spanish as well. My dad and I and my sister were speaking English. My mother did not understand English. And one day, I remember this vividly. She had a pot of food, and my sister and my dad were like laughing because of English, and my mom had no fucking idea. She threw the pot down on the table like card. She goes, if you guys expect to get fed, we only speak Spanish at this table. My dad looked at my mom, looked at us, and said, your mother is absolutely right. And that was the end of it. We never spoke any other language at the table but Spanish all the time. And because of that, thanks to my mom, what she did, I kept the Spanish. I somewhat kind of failed on my end with my kids because my wife and I speak Spanglish, not really Spanish, because we go in and out of it.
I've heard you.
Yeah, exactly. But that's where it's reserved. But you know what the truth is? The majority of fucking French Canadian families are either freaking divorced or, you know, they're no longer freaking going out with a French Quebecer or a French speaker. They're speaking, you know,
well, and
now
that's,
they want to, yeah.
That's the point. That's the point I'm trying to make with this. It's not even going to accomplish what they want it to accomplish. And if that's obvious to me, it has to be obvious to them. And anytime I learned this recently, because I'm a big fan of people are stupid. And I see people do a lot of dumb shit. But I'm starting to realize people aren't that fucking dumb anymore, dude. And what ends up happening is they do shit that doesn't make sense to anybody, and they don't care who calls them out on it because they know what they're going to accomplish. So give it 6 months, give it a year, see what the effect is, and then assume whatever the outcome is what they had planned all along.
Yeah.
Right? You look at the outcome and infer the motive. I don't see how that's going to remotely accomplish the preservation of their language when there's no one left there to speak it.
It isn't. The only ones that are going to be left are going to be the rich people that own all the companies here in Quebec that are going to enforce this rule, right? You know, that's all it's going to be. And it's going to be the rich people, and then they're going to have it's going to create such a division of classes even more that it's ridiculous. Rough Girl says, but doesn't it seem like there has been a long game played waiting for this stuff? Yeah, 100%. 100%. And the thing is that it goes back to what we said earlier, that Canadians don't have balls to be confrontational and to stand up for abuse. They don't.
Well, I mean, and look how it played out in the African American community in the United States in the 50s and 60s, right? As civil rights legislation happened and all that, what happened was you saw laws that were geared towards creating an equality of opportunity, right? And then you had black ownership, black family home ownership, booming. You found, the divorce rate lowered actually, and you saw the African American community doing so much better. But then as everything slides more to the left, the leftists are they're big on opportunity of outcome. And you can't force an outcome. The more you try to force people to do what you want to get the outcome that you want, the more likely they are to diverge from it. And Jordan Peterson and a bunch of other people talk about this a lot in Scandinavian countries, where they have proven the more you socially engineer people to have a desired outcome, the more separate the choices will be, right? So like the more they try to put women in engineering and mathematics and science and those kind of fields, and then you put them out there, but you have to give them the freedom of choice. You find that more men go into engineering and more women go into nursing, right? And the harder you try to make them make the choice you want, the more they diverge from it.
Right.
And Canada is going to learn this. And the United States is going to learn it too. It's the same thing. And you cannot force an outcome and still give people free will. You can't do it.
And it goes with what I Love Food just said. Diversity just causes problem. It does. It does.
But it's diversity of what? Diversity of people, diversity of language, diversity of
that's the thing.
Sexes,
any type of
diversity.
Any type of diversity causes conflict. It does. It does. It's a fact. Another thing is people stopped paying rent even though they were getting a governmental check. If I didn't pay Wells Fargo, I'd be homeless. I love to pick one national language and main culture, but that's the thing. That's the mistake. Canada's such about being inclusive that they were like, no, we have 2 official languages. Our national anthem is actually in 2 languages now. But I'm just tired of this abuse and stuff. And it comes to the end of the thing. Like, where do I see myself staying here? Do I continue moving out west? I love my city. I love where I grew up. I love
No.
it here.
You're moving to
But-
Michigan, so I have a place to come and mushroom hunt in the spring. We've spoken about this. I feel
Yeah,
like you're not listening to me.
the the long game. Rufko says, okay, in saying that some of us are using that as an excuse, mothers willingly taking welfare, creating generations of dependency. I don't understand.
And that's true. No, that's
yeah. It's
cultural.
It's not only cultural, man. It's also people become complacent. They get comfortable with what they have and don't want to break out of that shell for more, to take a risk. You know what I mean?
Right. Well,
So-
yeah. I mean, yeah. Schools, colleges.
Yeah.
They are teaching human beings to be as risk averted as possible, right?
Right.
Like,
Mhm.
you know, okay, let's take abortion for example.
Oh, here we go, back
Young
to
women,
abortion.
well, young women who will probably never get one, want it locked in stone. They want it in the Constitution that abortion is a constitutional right. That way, there's no risk at all to having unprotected, promiscuous sex. I mean, when it comes down to it, what is it like? 97% of all abortions are not from, cases of rape, incest, or medical necessity, right?
Yeah.
But the 3% of cases that are what they use to base their whole argument on.
Yeah.
When really all it is risk aversion. It's risk, eliminating risk. That's all it is.
Man, we were worried about not having enough things to talk about, but
I was gonna say that, yeah.
116. Damn. I have to thank Rough Girl for being very active on the chat today. It was great having you. I love food like always as well. We had Toxic Man Flu, man. He stopped by. I appreciate that. Chases, of course, my brother from another mother. Who else do we have? Drop Shop Stop. Terrence, Jason Lee Tucker. Oh my goodness. Bozo, I'll stop. I always it sounds like I'm saying Bozo. It's Basel. Stop by as well.
Mari
as well. Mari always says hi and bye. She stays quiet.
I know.
Jump in there, Mari. It's all good.
She's a spectator.
Yeah. Oh, I appreciate.
She's probably
everything,
cooking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she sends me pictures of all this food she makes all the time. It's unreal.
Cool. And saying that, folks, thank you for being patient and being on my rant. Something I'm really passionate about because it's just gone on for too long. And please do share out the link, share out the show, tweet, make comments, anything you guys want us to talk about next week. Please write it in the comments. And thank you so much. And in saying that, Mr. 36, you have anything else to add before we close it up?
Farfig Nugget. No, I got nothing.
So, saying that, thank you, everybody. Peace out.
Thanks, guys.